Now next data shows merchandise exports from 2021 and 2022. So in the pandemic period, merchandise sector feel a huge setback due to collapse of the sale of merchandise products, and we see the current fiscal year it again shows a positive growth as predicted by economy survey. Then in 2021-2022 April-December, the merchandise export recorded growth of 49.7%. remember it friend, 49.7% की ग्रोथ देखने को मिल रही है, and again 301.4 billion of growth, that is highest of all the growth, 301.4 billion US dollar. And again the last trend was 26.5, which was very low due to the pandemic in April to December, exceeding the pre-pandemic level. Now, owing to the rise of petroleum and crude oil prices, the worst hit exported commodities. So, petrol और crude oil की prices बढ़ गई in the global market due to problem of lockdown, pandemic and Russia-Ukraine crisis. Russia is huge producer of petroleum products. So, रशिया जैसे ही किसी भी विवाद में फंसता है दोस्तों, वैसे ही ऑयल की प्राइसेस हाई हो जाती है. Those exports have more than doubled, and now taking advantage of the increased demands for staples during the COVID-19 pandemic, India is again recovering. Export continues to do well in 2021 and 2022, backed by effective agriculture exports. So we study in the economy survey part 1 that how agro products, agriculture commodities and agriculture sector was providing a great leap in balancing the development and growth of Indian economy in the pandemic scenario. Agriculture sector was providing highest impetus to sustain the Indian economy because India is highly agrarian economy and agriculture commodities, goods and services were on huge export, as we see in the economy survey data, and policy impetus also provided for the exports. Now the next point is remission on duties and taxes. Remission on duties and taxes in order to provide liberalized method for the foreign investors. सरकार ने क्या किया दोस्तों, फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स को अट्रैक्ट करने के लिए ड्यूटीज और टैक्सेस में लिबरलाइजेशन कर दिया. दैट लीड्स अगेन टू द राइज ऑफ टैक्सेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेंट्रल, स्टेट एंड लोकल टैक्सेस एंड ड्यूटीज incurred in the process of manufacturing, distribution of exported products, and thereby provide a level playing field to the domestic industry. Now the next is developing district as export hub. How these developing districts, which are traced by the government as aspirational districts program, friends, remember for your prelims mains also, aspirational districts identified the government of India in which there is one district, one product, एक जिले में एक उत्पाद को आयात और निर्यात किया जाएगा in global market, so that are considered under the aspirational district, and they make a huge leap in the development district in terms of export hub. This scheme focus on making districts active stakeholder in promotion of exports. So जिन वैसे ज़िले जिनके उत्पाद बहुत ही पॉपुलर होंगे, जैसे कि मुजफ्फरपुर की शाही लीची विच हैज़ गॉट अ GI टैग, तो वैसे उत्पाद को ग्लोबल मार्केट में भेजने के लिए उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट को हाईलाइट किया जाएगा. फर्दर दी काशी साड़ी ऑफ वाराणसी, जो सिल्क साड़ियाँ हैं वहाँ की बहुत ही प्रचलित हैं, तो उनको भी ग्लोबल मार्केट में बेचने के लिए उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट को हाईलाइट किया जाएगा, विच विल मेक अ ह्यूज लीप for exports of various sectors in terms of commodities and goods. Now coming to the next, PLI schemes, production linked incentive, were provided by the government of India in order to boost the production of the goods and lead to more and more manufacturing, lead to better export, and it was highest over $500 billion in 5 years of highest data. Remember this data, very very important, $500 billion US dollar, which is highest in 5 years. Now, Export Promotion Capital Goods (EPCG) scheme, which also promoted the goods which are needed to be exported and which are high demand in global market from India. So it has reduced specific export obligations. पहले एक्सपोर्ट पे जो भी ऑब्लिगेशंस लगाए जा रहे थे, गवर्नमेंट ने उनको डीरेगुलेट कर दिया, लिबरलाइज कर दिया और उनके एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ गए. सो इट वाज reduced from 90% to 75%, and it leads to more and more export of these products. So in order to ease maritime trade, now ocean trade or maritime trade efforts are being taken by the government, and in order to do mechanism, there is LCS, that is land custom stations, which again provides huge leap for the development of ports, trade and ocean trading at global level. Then there was integrated check post in order to check the products which are coming on the ports, and there were also free trade warehousing zones. We earlier studied about export processing zones, exclusive economic zones and special economic zones. Now we are having free trade warehousing zones. Remember friends, very important for your prelims as mains point of view. Now capital account balance. Capital account balance seem a quite rise in this post-pandemic situation, although we are having a huge capital surplus due to presence of huge reserve in the forex exchange of RBI. So capital account A1 to A5 was $83.2 billion, reduced to 83.7, and again more reduced to 17.3, then again make a rise of $65.6 billion. Foreign investment friends, foreign investment making 44.4%, then rise of 80.1%, reduced to 31.5%, and again more reduced to 25.4%. Then foreign direct investment, which shows again a mixture of rise and growth, 43.0% in first quarter 2019 and 20, 44 again rises to 1%, then again reduction to 23.9%, then again reduced to 21.2%. Foreign portfolio investment very less of 1.4% in 2019 and 20, then rises to 36.1%, and again reduced to 7.6 billion US dollar, and again more reduced to 4.7. Loans were earlier 25.7 billion US dollar in 1920 and reduced to 6.9, more reduction to minus 1.1, that is negative trend. Remember the negative trends in loans. Then again come back of 10.4%. Banking capital reduced to minus 5.3, then again reduced to minus 21.1, again reduced a little bit improvement, that is minus 9.0, then more improvement to 4.4, and rupee debt service minus 0.1, minus 0.1 constantly, again minus 0.1, minus 0.1. Other capitals which see making the leap were again 18.5, minus 2.1, minus 4.0, and 25.4% again rise. Now current account balance GDP ratio, very important, 2.9 in first 2019, then reduced to 2.4, more reduction to 1.5, and rise to 4.5. Now keep this data in mind. You can write it in your mains answer writing to justify your point of view about the capital account balance. Next is trade in services and service exports. What are the services that make induced global restriction and weak tourism? So there were restrictions in tourism, so tourists were blocked to travel across the world in order to reduce COVID impact. ओमिक्रॉन वायरस इम्पैक्ट को रिड्यूस करने के लिए restrictions लगाए गए. Various countries blocked the tourists to enter their boundaries, and that leads to weak tourism and again reduction in the service industry. But India was doing quite well, so it was reduced to 18.4% to $177.7 billion during 2021-2022, and surpasses the pre-pandemic level, that is highest from India's side. Very important, $177.7 billion from tourism industry. In December 21, computer services export continued to be highest exported services, that is IT sector, BPOs and KPOs again on a rise, and constitute about 49% of the exports. Remember friends, highest export were from services of IT sectors. IT sectors growth by 49% as shown by the economy survey, and services imports rose by 21.5% in 2021-2022 in April to December, crossing the pre-pandemic level. Again, as the exports are rising, so the imports are also rising. So the surge in service import mainly due to account payments for the business, transport, travel and computer services. So India highest imports in the business of software sector, semiconductor devices, travels and the computer services, which together constitute more than 75% of all the imports. Remember this data, 75% of imports. Next is initiative for enabling an efficient logistic and ecosystem to boost export. So what are the initiatives taken by the government of India in order to boost the export are as follow, that is PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So the union government introduced Gati Shakti plan. So it comprises of improvement of economic zones, ports, airports, railway stations, that means railway freight improvement, then mass communication, ports, airports, mass, then waterways, so it also provided the impetus to economic zones in terms of special economic zones, exclusive economic zones, free trade zones, and integrated the infrastructure linkage holistically for seamless movement of people, goods, and improve the logistic supply chain. So the core of the core is logistic supply. अब logistic supply के लिए क्या होगा फ्रेंड्स, कोई भी सेक्टर को रोड कनेक्टिविटी चाहिए होगी, कोई भी जगह पे रेलवे लाइंस होनी चाहिए, then there can only be a provision for the connectivity to that zone in order to provide surplus of logistics. Logistics goods की डिलीवरी on the time होगी तो किसी भी चीज़ों की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग on the time हो सकेगी. That make a huge leap for the development under PM Gati Shakti program. The next is merchandise imports. Merchandise import provide a growth by 68.9% and $443 billion, which shows in April to December 2021 over the corresponding period of last year. So again 21.9% over the April and December 2019, crossing the pre-pandemic level.